Lovely. Tom, thank you very much. That was Tom Lowe with you for the last 2 hours with an amazing roster of tunes. Of course, back home in Dublin. He's back next week, 7 to 9 p.m, right here on RT Pulse with the Audio Sunshine Radio Show. Tom, thanks a mil. We are still on location here in Amsterdam. It is, of course, part 2 tonight of the ADE Show 2025. If you're a new listener to this show or a recent convert to the Digital Groove, it's one of the only real specials we do each year, bar our end-of-year programme. We always bring you 2 weeks from the Amsterdam Dance event. Well, last week was amazing. We're going to recap on that in a second. This week, I have another amazing lineup of guests for you with a lot of chats and a lot of good music. This is the Digital Groove 80 Special 2025, Part 2.
Europe's biggest electronic music convention, the Amsterdam Dance Event. This is the Digital Groove ADE Special.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Amsterdam, where the local time is 9 p.m. For the next 2 hours, you're listening to the Digital Groove ADE Special on RT Pulse.
The Digital Groove.
Well, I really hope you enjoyed last Monday's show, the ADE Special Part 1. So many amazing conversations, some great music in there as well, and just some golden moments. And we had a competition. Now, if you missed it, hopefully you didn't, or even at best you listen back, but if you missed it, here's a quick recap of what happens. And here's Barbara Tucker's question to win some amazing vinyl. Slight ulterior motive for meeting you so early, I have to say. And it's actually, I'm kind of masking it and doing you a favour, because I didn't want you carrying this around any longer than you have. You've taken all the way over from New York City to me, and it is a vinyl record that I've been after for several months now that was sitting in the cart on my Discogs. Coming from, and we'll get to this in a second, actually Vinyl Mania in New York, which I didn't realise until you actually got it sent to you. But you kindly brought it over for me, so thank you so much. Let's explain what, actually, have we even opened this yet? Let's make sure it's the right record. But explain to me where this has come from. It's come from Vinyl Mania, and for anyone listening who doesn't know the history of Vinyl Mania, it's not just a record store, it's a New York institution, right? This is like going way back.
Absolutely. Charlie Grappone was the owner, and it was on, what's the name of the street? Carmine Street, thank you very much. And it was the record shop that everybody who came from the Paradise Garage would go and try to find.
I'm opening this as you're telling us.
As he's opening it up.
Okay.
I'm passing it over to him like
Absolutely.
the sword of Azeroth.
Oh, it is?
Like,
absolutely. I don't want to bend it now. I'm going to open it with a spoon.
And they would all go there after the Paradise Garage and, see if the record that Larry Levan was playing that weekend was available, and people would just just go and shop there. So it was dance tracks. It was.
Does it still exist in a record store form? So this is the digital or online version
this is the
of Vinyl
online
Mania?
version. Yeah, that's on Discogs.
For me, John Kahn was so an amazing an amazing guy, an amazing artist, really lovely guy, and he helped me a lot with my tracks, with my producing, and he was also my guest in Switzerland at the U Coffee and Bar in Switzerland. So I loved him, and yes, for us it's the most important thing to have this remember party for him together, and to have you guys here also for playing, and yes, for raising a glass for our dear John Kahn.
What's something we might be surprised to learn about you outside of music? Keep it clean.
I don't even know. I'm a pretty good photographer.
Okay.
Maybe more. I'm a really good cook. I'm an absolute food nerd.
Okay, so food nerd how? You'll have people over to your house?
Michelin star to like awesome street food and everything in between. It's weird. If you ask around, I'm sure you'll find a lot of DJs who are really into cooking and really into food.
So is that in the mix, kind of in the mix, in the mixing bowl as well?
Because some of my friends, we've talked about this, but we think being a chef is like being a DJ. So
you know what? There's probably a bit of wisdom in that.
You make
actually, yeah.
You make something for the pleasure of someone else to enjoy.
Yeah.
So their vehicle is food, our vehicle is music.
Well, we literally celebrated 20 years yesterday. As I said, I was down at the Killer Cuts event. You heard a little bit of that there on the show, which was amazing. But you've signed everyone's copy who was there, but you signed a copy for us on the radio.
Yes. So we're looking for that winner. We are looking for
Okay,
that
so
winner.
I want a Barbara Tucker superfan to win this, genuinely, right? I want a proper Barbara Tucker fan to win this. I was going to ask you for your B-Star earrings as well, but,
It's the only one.
we can't ask you for them. But I need you to think of a question. We can come back to it if you want, but I need you to think of an appropriate Barbara Tucker related question that you know the right person is going to win this.
Okay, we gave a little answer, but what is the first track that Barbara Tucker did, and what is the first 3 tracks that Barbara Tucker recorded?
Wow.
If I'm here going on 41 years, there's got to be history here. What are the first 3 records that Barbara recorded?
Okay, that's going to be a tough one, Barbara, I have to admit. But look, there you go. That's.
Because one time, this person says to me about beautiful people, they said, "Oh, I really like your song, Beautiful People. Are you going to record some more songs?" I might. Or if I get up to sing, someone will say something like, "Have you ever considered recording? You really have a good voice." I said, What
do you say to those people? Thank you. All right.
You just say, "Wow, I never kind of thought of that. Maybe."
So that is what happened last week. It was great, wasn't it? It was really, really good. And there you go. The question to win that signed copy of Most Precious Love, signed by Barbara Tucker herself. It's not an easy one, and I've had a few people already get it completely wrong. So I might give you a hint. Can I give you a hint? Okay, it goes back to the 80s. Look at the 80s. Okay, that's my hint for you. Anyway, that was last week's show. We're going to run that competition across Instagram, my Instagram, DJ Niall Redmond, over the next while as well, okay? Because we want to give you a really good chance to win that final. It's a really special piece of memorabilia, and never mind an amazing record to own and have. And they sold out in absolute minutes. They went in minutes. So I was glad I even got a copy for you, let alone get it signed. Anyway, that was the question. That was last week's. Amazing guests. And as I said, we have an amazing lineup tonight on the programme for you. Well, someone I didn't get to chat to last year, I don't think, which is a travesty. He's a regular on our ADE specials, is Mr. Richard Earnshaw. We partied last night down at the iCulture party. It was absolutely incredible. It really, really was. It was, as you know, it's such bad weather, right? The weather has been horrendous here in Amsterdam this particular year. But inside, it was like a sauna, absolutely sweltering inside, jam-packed, but amazing music nonetheless. Anyway, I promised Richard I would come back today and have a little chat with him. So I'm off to chat to Richard Earnshaw now. He is... I think he said he's gone for a swim or something like that. So, look, we shall no doubt catch him in a very zen-like state. Anyway, this is Richard Earnshaw. Well, that was a fantastic night last night, Richard Earnshaw, and I know you're all zenned out because you've just been to the spa and the pool. How sophisticated! But did you need that?
Very civilised. Very civilised.
How bad did you need that this morning?
100% required. Yeah, it's a new thing that we do now, though. It's like, the older versions of ourselves now. We just, the morning after is like proper self-care.
Yeah, you need it. Absolutely. You need it. I mean, whatever we're getting older, you just need it. I mean, that was a big party vibe last night. You gave it everything. Everyone gave it everything. But we're talking about iCulture, of course. We're here once again, Richard. Do you know what I realised as well, Rich? We missed doing this a couple of years.
We did.
And I don't know. We just time-wise we screwed up, or I don't know what happened.
Yeah, before last, we were sat just there where the piano is.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And anyway, welcome back to the show. So I'm sorry we missed you last year, but for anyone listening at home, I'm sure you know, if you listen to the trajectory of the show tonight, that we were at the iCulture party last night. It was huge. I mean, we say this every time we come, but it was huge, man.
It was particularly special last night. I think, just generally speaking, just the energy in the room was different, like good different. I think most notably, and this is something that circulated a lot, I think this ADE is just the younger crowds are really, they're so passionate for great dance music.
Okay, so it's interesting you mention that, because I noticed the same thing last night. It seems to be, we're stating the obvious, a new generation of clubbers, music lovers. Are they discovering this for the first time? Because I'm looking back at these guys. So let's contextualise this. What you played last night in your set, I loved it. Right? It brought me right back to 20 years ago when we were hanging out,
when we were their age.
We were there, at their age, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm kind of thinking, oh wow, I'm kind of living nearly through them memory-wise, going, these guys discovering this for the first time. But you can feel that sort of new excitement.
Yeah,
for records that we now call classics, but they're going, oh, who's this? You know what I mean? It's just exciting, to see that.
It's the level of knowledge that I've noticed, that they're not just staring at the obvious platform top 10 and going, oh, that's obviously the most, perfect representation of what's going on. They're really digging, talking to some kids literally half my age, and they're turning out information on records I made 15, 20 years ago. And I'm not talking about the obvious ones either. I'm talking about obscure remixes that have never made it to digital. So they've obviously bought the vinyl somewhere, and it was just incredible to see so many of them there last night. We've all, kind of noted some of the parties we played over the years where the crowds have been a bit older. But this year is different for sure. There was a really strong, younger contingent there, and they were absolutely bang up for it.
The giveaway was they were singing along.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Playing records, and I'm like, they know the words.
But that must be energizing for you. I mean, even as a producer, I know you were DJing last night, but even as a producer, that your music is, getting a new lease of life, but appealing to the next generation, I guess, or even next generation. I mean, it must be exciting.
It is, actually. I think, I've always pretty much stayed in my lane from the get-go, and you see how the listeners and the consumers of your music sort of evolves and it changes, and it's just amazing to see them. There's these literally kids. I mean, I'm 50 now, so they are kids as far as I'm concerned. They're not much older than my own children, and they're really buying into it. They're into music, songs, songwriting, all these wonderful qualities of music making that I guess we've all noticed have been neglected a little bit for a while.
I was going to say that. Do you think the generation that are growing up with now, I mean, it's different to what we grew up with, buying records, playing records, no real social media at all, even when we were kind of doing things at their age. Do you reckon they're just craving that reality now compared to Spotify generation?
Yeah, absolutely that. I think it's a realisation that they're trying to rehumanise the community of music a little bit more. We've all been, I'm as guilty as the next, kind of sucked into this sort of digital ether where you're on your own on your laptop, and that's not what it's about at all. It's about being amongst other people. Of course there was the odd phone knocking about last night just to record some memories, but you look around that room and it wasn't like a scene out of Universe or anything like that. It was just hands in the air, proper into the vibe, and it's just a beautiful thing to see.
Well, I noticed last night as well, and it's something that I was pleasantly surprised by, but it was a one in, one out. It was that busy last night. It was a one in, one out. I actually put off going to the toilet because I knew I wouldn't get back in and I'd missed too much, right?
Yeah, well, actually, I went to the toilet and they wouldn't let me back into my own party.
You heard that? Yeah. I actually did hear that. And that was while you had a record on.
Yeah,
that was always the fear, wasn't it?
I ended up having to sneak around the back because I was like, well, okay. I need to get back in there. So, no, it was busy. I think it was doors at 7, 8:30. It was doors closed, one in, one out.
Well, I got in what I thought was early, and it was like, oh wow, okay, and I had to wait to get in. Do you know what I mean? So look, well done. I mean, I know it's been building solidly for so many years at ADE and even
13.
Back home. 13, yeah.
13 years now.
13, and that was just off the charts. I mean, the lineup, incredible. Just name check the lineup for anyone who missed who was on.
Well, in order of appearance, it was Cafe 432, then it was Steve Taylor, then myself, then Low Stepper, then Brian Tappert, and then Grant Nelson, and then it was back to back at the ends with me, Grant, Brian, and Cafe 432.
Wow. I have a couple of fun questions which I want to throw at you. In I know you're fresh from the sauna or whatever, but okay. So I've probably asked you this several times. I could probably answer this about you. I'd like to think, but anyway, what's something we might be surprised to learn about you outside of music?
Well, I'm a massive mountain biking fan.
Right.
But I'm, I think, if I'm allowed to say it, my balls are much bigger than my skill set. So I do crash quite a lot and break things. But I'm a very, very keen sportsman.
So how much time would you give to that when you're cooking?
And cooking as well.
Cooking, right? You're not the only one to say cooking.
Yeah.
There seems to be a correlation between DJing, producing and cooking, right? It seems to be an overlap.
It's a creative process, isn't it? Yeah. I love cooking.
All right, well, where do you see electronic music heading in the next 5 years?
I'm hopeful that we're going to see it heading very positively and upward. I think there's far too many talented people making great music and performing great music for it not to just inflate and become better. Because it's no surprise, it has been a little bit kind of like, for a little while. But as we know, everything is cyclic, and music is it's a strong and resilient thing. And I can see people. The streaming is obviously is it an issue? I don't know. I look at my stats and see that there are a lot of millions of people that are listening to what I'm doing, which wouldn't be beforehand. So it's a question of how we look at it, what the perspective is, and how we make those things work for us. But yeah, I think it's looking good.
Okay. What's your survival tip for making it through a crazy ADE week?
Spas.
You have unlocked the mindfulness key, right? Absolutely.
Whatever happens the night before, to spend the time in the morning just to have a swim, have a spa, flush it all out.
Okay, I'm going to do the rapid fire. You're going to be good at the rapid fire. I'm going to do the rapid fire with you right now. You don't overthink them.
Okay.
All right. There's only 10.
Mm-hmm.
Clubs or festivals?
Clubs.
Sunrise set or closing set?
Sunrise set.
USBs or vinyl?
Let's go vinyl.
Good man. You said the right thing. Studio all night or after party all night?
Studio.
And you've been partying till 4 in the morning. I knew you were going to say that as well. Okay, Amsterdam canals or Amsterdam bikes?
Bikes.
Stroopwafel or bitterballen?
Bitterballen.
Headphones, brand of choice?
Sennheiser.
Drop the bass or build a melody?
Build melody.
Favourite emoji you overuse?
It depends who I'm emojiing to.
Who do you text the most?
I'd say probably the most used one is the musical notes.
Okay, perfect. That's apt. And then finally, ADE in one word.
Bloody brilliant. 2 words.
We're going to let you get on with your day and recover from last night. What's in the plan for tonight?
Well, I'm going to go and have Guinness now.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Good man.
Then we're going to just pop over to Mike's doing a pop-up rave in a tiny little pub in the red light district, which is it's got the biggest sound system in the world in it. It's hilarious. And we're going to do that for a little bit, not for long, just to kind of go and show some support. And then I think it's back here for a super chill bit of dinner, and then I'm playing at Barbican later on between 9 and midnight with Steve and Yannicka 10.
Brilliant. We played together on Thursday at the kind of John Cann celebration, which was brilliant to play and hang out. And I said it to you at the time, but I'm going to say it to you officially now. We're great at commemorating people, and we should. We're great at telling people when it's maybe sometimes too late how great they were. I want to tell you, while we've been friends for a long, long time, and I'll probably tell you anyway, but while we are officially on this show, I want to tell you... And alive, yeah, and please stay alive for a long time. But we think you're great, we think you're brilliant. Thank you so much for everything you've done musically, promoting-wise, just being yourself, and everything you've contributed to the music scene. You're a legend, and we love you.
Well, thank you for
And we're telling you while you can hear it. There's no point in telling you when you can't hear it, right? So we appreciate you very much, and even taking time to chat to us all the time, send us all that music, making the music. Thank you for doing that.
Well, no, thank you for listening and for supporting.
Always. Right, Rich, enjoy the rest of your ADE. I will probably see you out and about later on. And well done again on last night. You know, we say it all the time, but well done on last night. It just gets bigger and better and better and better. Roll on 2026, huh?
Absolutely.
The Digital Groove at ADE. Soaking up the atmosphere on the streets of Amsterdam.
Now, one thing I don't want to lose sight of at the ADE, or any time, but at the ADE in particular, is that this is an industry event for the whole music industry in regard to electronic dance music. People from all over the world that represent not only the DJs, the producers, the labels, but all our industry are here to network, hang out, party, of course, as you know, and just enjoy getting together in Amsterdam every single year. So one person I did bump into on Thursday, and I promised her I'd nail her down before she went home, is Miss Sarah Foote. Sarah runs Favouritizm, which is a PR music promotions company, I suppose. I hope I'm describing that right. She supplies so much new music, not only to us in the Digital Groove, but to so many DJs and services and press across the world. So I said, Sarah, we got to get you on this year's show. I've got in touch with her this morning. She's agreed to meet me just before she goes to the airport. She's checked already out of her hotel, so I'm heading over to meet her. And this is Sarah Foote from Favouritizm chatting to me. I'm grateful we got this opportunity, Sarah Foote, because you're heading off. You've got your luggage even with you, and it gives me the chance not only to have a radio chat with you for this year's ADE special, but to thank you for all the amazing music you send us. So lovely to see you, lovely to catch up at ADE. How are you? You were giving it loads on the dance floor last night at Oil Culture. How's the head this morning?
Yeah, I'm a little bit Amsterdam-aged this morning, for sure. Thank you for having me on the show, Niall. It's really good to sit down and have a chat with you. And actually, also got the opportunity to thank you for all your support, for all the amazing music that I've sent you over the years. You're a proper troupe.
Well, do you know what? It's actually part of the mindset of the show this year in particular is, you know, we're great at looking back when people, for whatever reason, but you know what I'm talking about if you're listening out there tonight, when people go, we say how great they were and stuff, but we don't do it enough when we're like this sitting face to face or talking to each other. So we really appreciate everything you do for us. We really appreciate all you do for music, and you know, you're pushing all these artists, all these labels, all these genres, you know, to radio stations, to press. That's really important. I don't mean it's forgotten about, but it's something that people don't think about because I think this music just comes out of nowhere. But you're such a vital part of our scene. And again, my show would be probably got 30%, 40% less music only for the likes of yourself. So thank you so much. Really, we have to say that to you while we're sitting here, right?
Thank you. No, I really appreciate that. It's really great to connect, and part of the reason why I'm here really is to see your good self and connect with other media, clients, and you know, discovering new talent as well, and making sure everybody's like staying excited and curious about new music, just like you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I know you've been doing lots because we've been trying to get this together, and I know you've checked out, you've got your bags with you at the moment. God love you. You're going to go to the airport very shortly, but you've been flying around having meetings every day pretty much. So how hectic has it been for you as you know, someone who's promoting new music all the time? Are you making new connections? Are you just trying to get more people in under the Favouritizm umbrella, or what's it been like for you the last couple of days?
With doing what I do, because it is kind of 360 degrees of kind of music and promotion, so we're talking press, DJ promo and radio plugging as well. So yeah, I've crammed it in, and I literally hit the ground running straight from the airport to Track Source meet and greet, and I can't tell you how wonderful that is. What a wonderful opportunity it is to see a lot of faces that we know, that we need to catch up with. And I must have had about 500 hugs Thursday afternoon. I was quite overwhelmed. It was, oh my God, hi, how are you? And that's the start of where the voice starts to go. But what was really lovely too is that whole, you know, the community aspect, not just what Track Source brings, but what we all bring, what we all put in to come together. A lot of us work remotely, like myself, and that whole face-to-face aspect, connecting, and really getting a chance to chat, you know, is so important. You know, we work hard, we're driving everything behind the scenes, what we do, and yeah, so it's nice to have that opportunity.
Something tells me that you were probably working even while you were here. Had you the laptop open, even sent stuff out while you were here? The couple of days you were here, probably you nearly cost you in time. You probably still had to work while you were here, did you?
I did, yeah. No, I got crawled out of bed on Friday morning, so I had quite a crazy night on Thursday too.
As well?
Yeah. I'm a little bit notorious for this. Right. But no, I had some promos to send out, obviously, Friday morning. So yeah, it doesn't stop. It's a constant flow. And it's really an honour, you know. I do absolutely adore my job. I feel very, very humbled to work with some of the amazing artists that I do, and it's very much a sense of care and duty to the scene. I mean, especially after, you know, 24 years, 25 next year. And it's been quite a journey, it really
sure.
has. Yeah.
I mean, you know, from where you started out 25 years ago to what it is now, like, I mean, did you even... Like, I'm thinking I'm 17 years in the radio on RTE Pulse in a month. And, you know, when I started, I didn't think 17 years down the line. Wow. You're now this far down the line with Favouritizm. I mean, how is it? It must have just grown exponentially in that time.
Yeah, I mean, it's been many facets. I mean, obviously, I was a DJ for 20 years. I don't really play so much now. There's been so many other things. There's been a radio show. It was events. We used to put on some great parties over the years. I mean, Quentin Harris, Miguel Miggs, Brian Tapper versus Simon Dunmore with DJ Deathmatch back in the day. The promotion side of things really, really took off, but it was a very different kettle of fish back then. It was sending out vinyl.
It was vinyl, absolutely, yes.
And then it was CDs as well. So, and there wasn't so many people that we were working with back then. So obviously, with the digital age, everything's just grown, and you're getting to know more people. There's more people to service. It's enormous now, so it's not a case of just working with 400 or 500 people these days. You've got to know everybody. And,
you know, just thinking back even to the vinyl days, I remember I probably got vinyl off you back in the day, but I discovered last week only all my old reaction sheets, probably from the late 90s into the early 2000s, all handwritten in Byron. You had to fax it back and all that kind of thing. But I remembered how difficult it was to get on mailing lists. I actually discovered a letter I got from Universal Music kind of going, well, you know, we're kind of vetting you and seeing are you suitable for our mailing list, because it was a real big deal. Nowadays, are you just inundated still, because it's digital now and people probably see it as easier to get free music, quote unquote. Do you just get plagued with people looking to get on your mailing list, or how do you vet it?
How do I vet? I mean, for radio, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of massive, enthusiastic people out there that, you know, that love their tunes, they're doing the show, but they are 10 to the penny. I have to be honest, there are a lot out of there. So, unfortunately, if you are a passionate DJ, I love that and I respect that. But if you're just playing to you and your dog and a couple of mates, then it doesn't warrant getting on a mailing list. However, if you're building a community, through your radio station, you've got some decent stats, then yes, hit me up. You know, I'm happy to service those to get the furthest reach for my clients' music that we can. Obviously, at the end of the day, we're doing this to encourage people to buy the music or stream the music too. And I think radio still plays a massively significant part in growing that artist or growing that record. It's really important.
Even a couple of years ago, it was radio. Now it's video stream. Now it's, you know, podcasts. Now it's all, there's so much different facets to actual broadcasting now, more than just radio. So I mean, there's probably a huge diverse amount of people looking, I do an internet stream every Friday night, like, but I have like 10,000 people looking at me on TikTok, or more, 100,000 people. Do you get that sort of stuff as well now, looking for?
You do, yeah. And I think what it is, it's a real kind of creative place. With lots of, you know, different opportunities for people to pursue, and obviously TV being on screen isn't for everyone. Not everyone likes that, so sometimes they prefer to do a podcast. It's nice to bring in a mix of opportunities for clients and artists at the end of the day, and also bearing in mind what they're comfortable with as well. You know, you have to work with that.
So, other side of the coin of this is, and it's something I've always thought about myself, and I don't know the answer to this, so you are the perfect person to ask it, is I start a label, Digital Groove Records, whatever. I go, right, I really need help getting this music out there. So I come to you. What's the procedure? How do we approach Favouritizm? How does somebody listen tonight who is an up and coming label or wants to work with you? How do they go about it?
Basically, the first point is just seeing if it's the right fit for me.
Do you kind of have to like it? Like, do you sort of vet the music? Okay.
I'll be honest, and this is not wanting to sound arrogant at all. You have to have a certain criteria in terms of, you've got to be pretty good to compete against other really strong material out there for any space on the radio or in the media. So it's got to be, you know, of decent standard. And I'll always do what I can to perhaps nurture that if it's not quite right yet, or maybe some helpful comments and stay in touch, that kind of thing. But if the stuff is good, you know, I will take that and we'll plug it into the system. And basically that will then involve, you know, we'll start compiling a campaign, we'll put together press releases and like the artist's biography, etc., and then kind of get a bit of a plan of what we're going to do. And then we'll start by beginning rolling that out to press, to the DJ, tastemakers out there in the world. And then as we get nearer to release date, we'll start pushing it out to radio, and then this campaign starts to build leading up to release date. Then you've got all this activity popping around, creating awareness for the release and directing people to go and buy and stream. So that's kind of what I do. You see,
this is why this is so important, and it's not that people assume it, you know, it doesn't, you know, they don't really know it doesn't happen, or, you know, they assume that these records just appear on the likes of TrackSource and, you know, or appear in DJ sets, but there's so much, I know from buying music every week, there's so much new music every week. To get a really good record actually heard must be so difficult nowadays. So that's where, like, you come in, and it's so important that you have a vehicle to push your music. So I'm aware that so many people are curious as to how to get that push. So how they would get in touch with a promotions company or someone who can get them to bigger DJs to play their record, just to get seen. So that's the reason I ask. It's just there's probably people out there going, wow, yeah, I need this.
I mean, yeah, there are. There are a lot of PR companies and, you know, independent radio pluggers and people that work with, you know, Spotify playlisting and that. There's so many cogs in this giant wheel that we all work in, and it depends also what your niche is as well. I mean, there's certain aspects of music I don't work, and my mailing list isn't tailored for that, whereas such and such services would be. So it's finding a company, a PR company that's right for you, that fits you, with all the right mechanisms in place to support the music that you're making. I, as a promotions company, I'm only as good as the last record that I send out, right? So you need that kind of care and duty around that. You know what you're going like. I know what you like, because I see your feedback all the time. I know what you like and what you're playing on the show. So it's really important to find the right people to work with. And like I said, there are a lot of people out there. Also, I think quite key to have that kind of trust and integrity. I think you guys trust me that I'm probably not going to send out something that.
You know what? You're dead right. Because when I see your emails coming in, I'm pretty sure it's going to be something I'm going to play. And I get a lot of stuff through in-flight, and I have to say a lot of it is stuff I would never dream of playing. But I know when it's from you, Sarah knows what I play, and she's always, the quality control is there, basically.
Yes,
so, that's definitely a thing with Favouritizm, for sure.
I mean, it's an interesting thing because that quality control comes from A&R. Obviously, they're the ones signing the tracks, but there are some tracks that I will turn down because they might not be the right fit for me, for my company and my mailing list. And that's fair enough, but there's always somebody else who I can recommend. Have you tried this company, that company? And I'm cool with that. I'm not competitive. When I work a record, it's with a passion, it's with conviction, and you have to have the benefit of my enthusiasm. If I'm going to be working a track or an album, say, for any length of time, it's like, right, let's go and have my enthusiasm rather than, all right, here, take your money and just throw it at the wall and hope it sticks. Yeah. You've got to work with this for time and convince other people to love it too and listen to that. You've really got to bang those doors down, bang those walls down. And as you say, there is such a massive influx of new music out every single week, every single day even. Nothing is ever guaranteed, and some people don't like certain records and some people do. Sometimes they pop and explode, sometimes they don't. If I could promise huge success for every single record, then I'd probably be a millionaire.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, you can, and that's it. You can't,
No, you can't.
Well, you can just get it to the right people, and I think that's what the important bit is. I mean, even think back to the 10 City album, which you'd sent out. I mean, just at the time of recording this would have been a couple of weeks ago now. I mean, to think that potentially would get lost. I mean, what a great album. It was, do you know what I mean? It is. To think that would get lost in a deluge of releases because people just didn't get to hear or see it on a Tracksource or any other, even Spotify. It's just mad to think we live in that age that, your service is vital. It's just so important to get those records visible, I think,
Yeah, to get seen and heard. I mean, and with a project like that, I mean, goodness me, talk about a labour of love. I mean, the album is just an absolute breath of fresh air on the scene at this point in time. And we're very much immersed in a world of lots of cover versions and edits, which are all fantastic. We have a great time with that, and everybody loves to sing along on the dance floor. But it's really lovely to see, talent like Emmaculate and Byron Stingley working together, along with Andrew and Mike at Nervous, as this whole team, and then bringing in new talent to work with them. So this album took a long time to put together, but with so much care, so much passion. And when you listen to every single track, it breathes that, it's just like, I've got goosebumps talking to you now.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, you're heading home, I know. Party-wise, what did you go to the last couple of days? I know you've been hitting the ground running meeting-wise, but party-wise, I know I caught you last night, but where else were you giving it socks?
So, Tracksource, I had a little bit of a dance at the end, but then I went off to Tour Room.
Okay, yeah.
They had their mixer with Crossfader. Caught up with JJ, which I haven't seen for over a decade, and we go way, way back. JJ from Molten Music, and the San Fran hero who we all love. So it was really nice. He was playing a set there, so what a treat. It was awesome. But I also caught the whole thing about the mix is a lot of new talent and nurturing, which I love again with the Tour Room Academy. They're creating a space for community and support there, nurturing, giving back, which is wonderful. And there's new talent coming through, and there was this girl, I think she's called Sophie. She was smashing it, a little thing. I went up to her, I was like, you were so good, give her flowers, She was really good. She kind of reminded me, her energy of me like 20 years ago, really like, not jaded whatsoever, like I guess some of us can get sometimes, And Dante Tom, I've got to give a shout out to Dante Tom because he is probably one of the most excitable DJs and talent as well. He's a great producer too. He's so curious and excited about new music and very passionate. He's got like a really cool energy. So to see him play for the first time was really cool for me. It's nice to connect with him in person. Seeing the old friends, old peers like JJ, etc. There's so many here, too many to mention.
What's something we might be surprised to learn about you outside of music?
I'm a mindfulness coach.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is interesting. I'm actually going to do a master's in psychology starting in 2 weeks' time.
Wow.
Part-time.
As if you didn't have enough to do.
I know. This is the thing. I think coming from this world of working with so many people and so many situations to navigate in life in itself, I'd like to give back properly. I can do that through mindfulness coaching. We'll add some more layers to that and go a little bit deeper into psychology. Because I think, our mental health and where we live, taking care of ourselves is so important. And I've had quite a few chats actually with some people here.
Wow, okay.
Quite deep and meaningful chats really about, being neurodivergent in the music industry, working with stress, and because it can take its toll. It doesn't matter how old you are. So that self-care is really fundamental. So, future Nan, Favouritizm, when she's 60, might be doing something a little
Favouritizm,
different.
Favouritizm, mind coaching,
Yeah.
life coaching, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I would love to give a lot more. I've still got a lot to give, and that might not necessarily mean promoting music for the rest of my life when I'm in my 60s, but that wisdom that comes with experience was something I would like to share.
Well, bearing that in mind, what's your survival tip for making it through a crazy ADE week or a few days in your experience this year? So what's your survival tip then? How would you advise anyone coming for the first time next year how to survive ADE?
How do you survive ADE? The thing is, I never survive any of them. So I'm probably not the right person to ask. I'll just go all in. I mean, even remember like the early ADEs and the Miamis, I'd go all there for 10 days and I'd get to day 7 and I probably hadn't slept and I'd just collapse for the day. And then I'll be straight back out again. I think there's curiosity, fear of missing out. I can't miss a trick. I've got to see everybody, make the most of it, really. But obviously self-care does come into that. So I guess pace yourself, drink some water now and again. And remember to eat. Because I remember I got here, I was at Tractor's, and I didn't eat for 24 hours.
I did the same yesterday.
Yeah, and it was like, I found this salad because I'm celiac, so it's not always easy to eat here. So yeah, if you like me, do a little bit of homework on where you can actually eat, because you can walk around for hours feeling a bit hungry.
One memory from a past AD that sticks out with you? And just because you mentioned Miami, you can include Miami as well.
I'm into a diverse amount of music, and I think there was just a really, really beautiful moment. It was a few years ago when Maceo Plex was playing at I can't remember the name of the museum. It was a massive museum here. This is what happens when you get over 50. You forget.
Yeah, and people just shove a microphone in your face
and they do. Can you remember that? I'm like, I can't remember anything. But no, I've actually had some great times, even with the techno guys, going to see the dynamic crew, etc. But also just every single one, it's like just reconnecting with everybody and running around, having a great time, having great meetings and loads of fun at the same time. Yeah, that's what I call balance. You get the work done, but still enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't feel like work time, does it?
It will do on Monday morning.
Well, look, we got to let you get to the airport to get home for Monday morning, otherwise you're going to be still here talking to me. I wanted to get you to think just for a few minutes or a few seconds about some of the stuff you might have promoted so far this year. It doesn't have to be from this year, but we do like to play some musical selections on the ADE programme. So you have a broad library of music you could probably pick from stuff you promoted this year. So it's kind of, I'm going to throw the floor open to you. What would you like to pick?
I think I also want to give a shout out and some flowers to Youssef, who has delivered an amazing album this autumn. It's just come out recently now, and I Operate in Purple it's called, and it's really like a massive journey of his house journey. It delves into the past. It's not what you'd expect from Youssef, really. Really big songs, big vocals.
And I have to say that with respect, because when you sent it to me, I thought, this has got to be banging tech stuff. And I was like, actually really cool. It was more my style,
Yeah.
So I was pleasantly surprised by that as well. It would really mix it up. So respect to Youssef, yeah.
No, it's I mean, I've had it on repeat, since he said, oh my God, this is an amazing album. Yeah, pick any track from there, because every single one is a winner. Really good. Yeah.
All right, so what are you going with? What are you going to go with?
I think I'm going to go with Higher Place because it sticks in my head.
Okay.
Youssef featuring Kuda, Higher Place.
Okay, we'll give it a spin. Sarah, you get yourself to the airport. You have very important work to be doing when you get home, and probably even on the way to the airport. It was great to see you. Thank you so much again for everything you do for me, for my radio show, for everybody else's radio show, DJ sets, press, everything, all the work you do. It's really appreciated, and we want to let you know that. And thank you. And great to see you. Great to dance with you last night.
Yeah.
And thanks for taking time to chat to us today, because I know you could be making waves to the airport and stuff, but we've moved locations several times to do this. But thanks so much for taking time to chat to us on the show. It was great to catch up with you finally, because we've never done this for a ADE show, which is
we haven't. Thank you so much, Niall, and also to return those flowers. Thank you on behalf of what I do, but also on behalf of my clients, and to anyone else out there that you know picks up the music and promotes that and pushes it. You know, we all love you for that. And you know, thank you very, very much. And I wish you all the best for the rest of ADE. Hope you survive.
We're just going to get through today, but it'll be fun. Right, Godspeed, safe travels.
Thank you, much love. We love you loads. Thank you.
Well, I hope you're enjoying the show so far. It is, of course, the Amsterdam Dance Event 2025 Part 2. tonight from the streets of Amsterdam. We did part 1, of course, last week. If you didn't get a chance to listen to it, we had a competition in there as well. I know we recapped at the start of the programme tonight some of that, but if you didn't get a chance, go back and have a listen. It's up there on the RT Radio player, and you can get involved. Enjoy it. It was amazing last week. Some great chats, and indeed some great chats so far this week, and some more to come. The weather still hasn't really held up, I have to be honest with you. I think I'm even starting to get the flu, if I'm honest with you. But one thing I wanted to do this particular year, and I think we did it last week, and we're doing it this week, and we're going to continue to do it before we head off tonight on the show, is I wanted to have just good, decent long conversation. Not so much quick ones anymore, not so much. I know there's some fun stuff happening, but some good conversations. There's so many people here that I haven't met until now. The next guest is a prime example of this. We play so much of his music on the radio. I bumped into him again at the Hallow Track Source meet and greet, and I also pinned him down for a quick chat, and it is DJ Emmaculate from Chicago. I'm off to meet him now. He's literally agreed to meet me over a cup of coffee. It's just hit past 12 o'clock, so yeah, good time to have a little late morning coffee and a chat about some music. This is DJ Emmaculate. Lovely to be back at ADE 2025 and have a proper ADE experience like I like to have over the years that you will know out there, and that is hooking up with people that we have played music by for decades probably at this stage. Yes. DJ Emmaculate, I met you at the Track Source party on Thursday night. Absolutely. Here we are now on Saturday. Lovely to hook up, and you promised me we'd have a chat, and here we are.
Absolutely, and it's a pleasure to finally meet you, and thank you for supporting the music all this time, man. That means so much.
The music is amazing. It's such an integral part of our sound. Everyone out there loves it too, so wonderful to say to you. Well, how you doing? I mean, you're here since Wednesday?
No, we left Chicago Wednesday evening. We've been here since Thursday morning.
Okay.
Okay. Flew overnight.
Yeah. So you literally hit the Track Source event almost from the get-go?
Yeah, we luckily were able to check in a little early and get like an hour nap in, and then it was off to the Track Source event on Thursday.
So who did you, I mean, we bumped into each other at Track Source. Who else did you see at Track Source that you caught up with just while we have you?
Well, it was great to see Byron and Sheldon, of course. You know, they support the music so much, and Dan Kay. I saw a lot of the usual suspects. A lot of the Chicago guys were there. I was able to bump into my guy CL Assad, who's a good friend of mine. Wade Teo, I saw. There were just so many people. Barbara Tucker. There were people that I met for the first time too, and boy, there were just so many. I'm drawing a blank on who all I saw.
It was a who's who, though, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, it was definitely a who's who. Got to meet Alternate for the first time. That was really dope. But yeah, there was, so many people. Todd Terry. It was a great turnout. I mean, it was shoulder to shoulder packed. Even people that I did, like Ridney, for example. I did a remix for him, but that was my first time meeting him in person. It's cool how we forged these relationships online so much, from like supporting each other's music on Track Source, charting each other's stuff and everything, and meeting people and keeping in contact on Instagram, and that leads to WhatsApp. But just like with us, it's great to finally have FaceTime with people and be able to share space.
Exactly. I mean, technology has made the world a smaller place, but it's only when you come to events like this you consolidate that relationship and actually get to meet people and actually put that relationship into a face-to-face.
Absolutely, and it sticks for a time.
And then this is exactly what ADE is about for me. Catching up with people I would never. Well, hopefully at some point I might be in Chicago or something, but the chances of us meeting all together in one place at one time, this is the only place we can do it. So it's brilliant. It's really, really good.
Absolutely.
So, have you been up to anything else? I mean, what's been going on the last couple of days? I know you're playing today. You're playing at the Nervous Mixer today, a little bit later on today. And, of course, that's happening with 10 City as well. We'll get to that in a second. But what else have you been up to since Thursday then?
Well, so that same day, Thursday night, I played along with Terry Hunter and DJ Spen at one of the Soul Heaven Records events over at De Kroon. So that was a lot of fun. I always love being able to, share the decks with Terry Hunter and Spen. I mean, playing with those guys, you gotta bring your A game all the time. These guys are monsters.
You can't drop it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a pleasure. Much love to Floor for having me. That was a lot of fun. And then yesterday we made some rounds. We went to Rush Hour Records. We had a great lunch. We went to a panel discussion at the actual ADE headquarters with Ron Trent and Lano Brazil. That was really cool. And then we were back at De Kroon last night where Terry played again. Stacy Kidd played, Mr. V played. That was really cool. We went by yesterday too. Natasha Diggs played at that Water and Wine party, so we got to see Natasha and Dee Prosper. So Bumped into Louis in the street, just walking down. Like, when else can you just be walking down the street and bump into Louis Vega walking down the street? Like,
and it's normal.
And it's normal because it's ADE. So we had a lot of fun, man. We did a lot of damage in 2 days.
Brilliant, but you're chilling out this morning, right? This is your chill out time, I guess. So that's what I'm ruining.
Listen, today was sleep in day because we've been, again, overnight, Wednesday night with minimal sleep on the plane, and then all day Thursday, all day Friday. So today I did not get out of the bed until 12.
Your body clock is probably... Listen, not bad news for you as well, and it's going to be too late when people are listening to this, but the clock goes back tonight as well, so whatever body clock adjustments you've had are going to go back an hour.
Yeah, we lose another hour, absolutely. And, Amsterdam is 7 hours ahead of Chicago, so we already are upside down.
So it's a good thing the clock goes back. Maybe you gain an hour, do you? Or do you lose an hour? Do you lose an hour? I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, that's a brain tweezer right now.
Brain tweezer right now. Absolutely.
My mind is too exhausted to figure that out. But the good news is that we do gain the time back going home.
Exactly. Yes.
So even though we leave around 12 tomorrow, but we actually get home by like 3 in the afternoon in Chicago. So we still have a half a day left. So kind of chill out and catch up on rest on Sunday and back to work on Monday.
Back into it. Well, listen, speaking of work back home, I know Mirrorball Records, yourself and Terry.
Yes, absolutely.
What's been going on there?
Man, we've been putting out a lot of great music. We just there was a remix that I just did of a record called Grateful by Stout, who is an amazing soul R&B artist in Chicago that's doing more house stuff as well. I think just right as of today, there's a new record out that Terry produced with an artist named Lauren Elise called MIA that just came out. There was a remix that Terry did of Teresa Griffin, I Want Him to Be Mine, that just came out recently. So, yeah, we're constantly putting out fresh music on Mirrorball and have a lot more stuff planned over the coming months too.
Of course, you're busy remixing. I mean, we're playing so much of your stuff as a remixer even, and your own stuff that's not on Mirrorball. What else you got going?
Yeah, well, and I also handle mix engineer duties too. I'm a mix engineer in addition to being a producer and remixer.
So does that cover all different styles of music? By the way,
is
it just house?
I know. To me, mixing is mixing. So I will work with any genre of music when it comes to that, because that's, it's a different service job. You just help people make their creation be the best that it can be. And I mix most of Terry's stuff too, so there's always that kind of work going on. I have some other remixes that are coming out. One is called Blaxploitation by an artist named Frederick, that's coming out on Yoruba Records. Shout out Oshunlade. I think that's coming out maybe out on Bandcamp now, and it's coming in the coming weeks on Traxsource. I did a remix of a record called Feelin' by Wes Wint and More Soul that's coming out on the Househead London label soon. I have a project that I'm finishing with my brother Koflo. That's an A and B side that's going to come to vinyl.
Lovely. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be vinyl only release, I believe. That'll be early 2026. It's a lot of music. I'm working on an EP of my own too called Like Minds. That I'm saying volume 1 because I intend to continue this. We'll see what happens, but the concept is a collaboration project. Probably like a 5-song EP where each song is a collaboration with another producer. And that's why it's called Like Minds. And I've got one in the can already with Terry Hunter. I've got one that's partial with DJ Spinna. Got another partial with Koflo. And as of right now, I may be doing one with Shannon Chambers, who is a family on the label, as well as Oshunlade. So we'll see how that project plays out, but that's in process right now.
So what makes a good collaboration for you? What's the kind of thing that is energizing for you in a collaboration?
I think it's the chemistry that's fun. You know what I mean? It's sharing ideas and learning from each other. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many dope producers out there, and you build a friendship. And for this, and I want to continue this theme. Like, I want to collaborate with people that I've built a relationship with, that I know to some degree, and have a great respect for each one of these creators. And I like to think I'm bringing something to the table to offer, as well as I'm learning from them and welcoming in what they have to offer that's different from what I would do, and just challenging each other to come up with something crazy.
Because I always wonder, who has the final say? Me and you make a record, I say, I don't like that, Eric, I don't like that, I can't change it. Who's the final say? Is there a final say?
Well, I think that's a great question, because I think, any collaboration is a compromise and a trust. And so I try to kill the ego when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? Because no one person always has the best idea. So it's a matter of trust. You know what I mean? And it's a matter of respect. Like, I like to think if it's my project, generally the other person is going to kind of defer to me to say, okay, well, you close it out. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm always going to respect the other person's input, and vice versa. If I'm doing something for somebody else, like with this project that Koflo and I have, the second song is actually a collaboration also with Q Violin, and I did my parts, and I added and gave it back to him, and then he had some other ideas, and I told him, hey, bro, I trust you 100%. Whatever you want to do, go for it.
There must be a lot of trust involved,
Yeah,
to a degree. You know, you're kind of saying, well, okay, take it and bring it back, and we'll see what happens.
But you know, when you choose the people that you collaborate with like that, you choose them because you know they're great at what they do. So why not trust them? Even if you do something different than what I would have done, it's still gonna be good. It doesn't have to be my way all the time.
You're the first person I've spoken to from Chicago at the ADE this year, as in on microphone. And I have to ask, it's still so fresh in the head. It still seems a little bit surreal. Ron Carroll passing away.
Yes.
How much more real for you guys?
Well, it was incredibly real because the night before he passed away, he spent time with us.
My God.
So we have this new 10 City album that, you know, Byron and Michael Weiss invited me in to produce the majority of it, and we did vinyl on it as well. So there's a venue in Chicago called Wax Bar, and it's modeled kind of after the Japanese, you know, vinyl listening bar kind of places. And I do a monthly event there called Just Dope Music. And Byron and I had a vinyl release party for the album, and Ron came and sat there with us just like normal. Anybody that knew Ron Carroll knew it was always jokes flying all night, like inappropriate, funny jokes, you know, always.
I've only ever seen it through social media, particularly with him and
like
Maurice
him and Maurice
Joshua.
Yeah. Exactly. So the most
I get it,
vulgar, inappropriate
Yeah.
stuff, but it was all in love and fun and laughs. And that was just the kind of dude that Ron was when you hung out with him. He was always just very supportive. I can just speak personally. He's always been supportive of me, playing my records, charting my records, encouraging me in private when we would talk, you know, inviting me to DJ at some of his events and stuff like that. So I had a great relationship with Ron. And anyway, he came to support like always and sat there. I sat next to him for probably an hour that night, just talking crazy and making jokes. And he bought one of the albums and had me and Byron both sign it. And then he was making a joke. I probably can't say it on the radio.
You can say it. Don't
Oh,
worry.
okay. So it was funny. I wrote, to my bro Ron, you know, much love, Emmaculate. I signed it, and the way that I signed it, much love, maybe wasn't that legible. And he kept saying I wrote manhole. It's like this is the kind of. So we're just having fun, talking crazy the whole night, and chilling. And that was Saturday night. Sunday night, I went to bed, and I woke up at like 5:30 to let our dogs out. And I looked at my phone, and I had a text from Byron that said they're saying Ron passed. He had texted me at like 2 a.m, but I didn't see it. And I went right on Facebook and looked, and I saw it right away, and I just was like shocked. And that Sunday, there was an outdoor picnic that a guy named Daryl Smith throws that Ron played at. And then he went to a birthday party of another industry person in Chicago. And so like he had a normal day Sunday, went and DJ'd, went and hung out at night, and he went home that night, and that's what happened. And he even had a flyer posted on his Facebook of a Monday Night Football event, that, you know, American football, for that Monday. And, you know, so it's like, it's just a lesson in life, man, that like that man had plans the next day. And
He's still on flyers here.
Yeah.
For events here. That's how close it was. Do you know what I mean? That's what I couldn't get over. I was like, we're supposed to be AD in a couple of weeks.
Well, you know, at this point in life, you know, we've experienced so much death and of, you know, loved ones and just people that you know or you see, celebrities, everything. And it's just, to me, it's just taking a lesson every time that, like, don't take your days for granted
100%.
because everybody that passes had plans the next day, and then the lights went out, you know. So it's like you have to appreciate your time. And I take it like that. It is surreal. And, you know, yesterday at the event at the Croon where Terry was playing, it was actually while Mr. V was playing, they had a montage on the screen of like this tribute to Ron. And obviously they had lifted all these pictures off of his Facebook and everything like that. And me and my fiance Shelly were looking at that and just like, wow, look at that. It's just crazy that here we are at ADE and like there's like a Ron tribute. It's just weird.
nuts.
Yeah,
It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, but much love to Ron Carroll and his legacy, man. I mean, you know, all in all, Ron was, you know, important to the scene. He had a lot of contributions to the scene for many, many years. And like I say, for me, he was always a supportive dude, and yeah, much love to his family.
Well, one thing it brought home to me, and you know, as much as it's the right thing to do when people pass away and we commemorate them and we say how great they are and we celebrate them, which is totally what we should do. We don't do it enough while we're here, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm saying this to a lot of the people I'm talking to, you know, I'm going to say it privately, ongoing to people when I meet them, but thank you for all your music. Thank you for all you do for music, everything you've contributed to music. Let's tell you now what we can tell you. You know what I mean? That kind of came home to me. Like a couple of our friends that died, we had a celebration of our friend John Kahn a little earlier in the week.
Sure.
Same thing, you know, it's like we did celebrate his music, and rightly so, but I got to tell you while you're sitting here in front of me, thanks for the music.
No,
thanks for being such a force of amazing records that enhance people's lives. We tell you now, you know.
Yeah, no, I thank you.
Look at telling you when you're gone. So, you know,
you
we're kind of, it brought that home to me, you know. Tell people you love them, you care about them, they mean something to you now, you know.
Yeah, no,
we'll celebrate you anyway, but let's celebrate you while you're here, you know.
It means everything, man, because, you know, for those of us that really have this music and this art in our DNA, in our hearts, like, you know, we all have to do business, but at the end of the day, that's not why we create. You know, we create because we love music. We love to create. We're creators. And the greatest result of that, outside of money and gigs and all that, is people just enjoying what you created. Like, that's the pleasure of it. So I genuinely appreciate you saying that.
I always think to myself, you know, if Ron had never made music, if he said, you know what, I'm just not going to do that. I'm just not going to do it. The world wouldn't be, or certainly our world wouldn't be, a richer place that it is now with all the stuff that he's made, all the, you know, all these amazing records and contributions that he's made to music. Same with yourself, you know what I mean? Imagine you had never put your hand to music. You said, oh, you know, it's too difficult, I'm going to learn it to do all this, you know, I'll leave it. We would be none the richer at all. So thank you for even doing it, you know, because I always wonder, you know, people don't harness that creativity. They don't, you know, go and act on it. That's when we're at a loss. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, and it can be challenging. You know, it can be challenging for everybody because, you know, let's face it. The more the music industry has changed, you know, the economy of it becomes more difficult in a lot of cases. So it's challenging for people to dedicate the time to make music. You know what I mean? Because, you know, life costs money, and so a lot of people are working jobs. And I mean, there's some amazing, talented people that work jobs and have families and have accountability and responsibility, and they it's hard for them to put the time into making music. You know what I mean? So yeah, shout out to everybody that does take the time, even if you are working a job and you use some of your free time to create and share with other people. You know, much love to those.
Absolutely. Right, we need to talk about Tent City.
Yes,
we need to talk about Tent City. Already mentioned it with Sarah from Favouritizm a little earlier in the program. It's really, the album is incredible, I have to say. And unfortunately, just the nature of my program, I could only play one or two tracks off it, but I'm going to get back to it. Actually, I'm going to get you to pick one before we go. But I'll pick a track off it before we go. But talk me through it, because this is the next generation. This is the next chapter, I guess, of Tent City.
Yeah, so that started as a concept between Byron Stingley of Tent City, of course, and Michael Weiss, who's the owner of Nervous Records. And they discussed doing this album with Nervous this time, where the last two, and in this new era, the last two albums came out on other labels. And they said, well, what are we going to do to make this one special? And the two of them came up with the concept of the next generation, where, you know, Byron is, to me, and I think if you do your research, you'll find this to be factual, Tent City is, if not the group, one of the groups that created what we now call Soulful House, which is just an extension of what the great disco music was. And that's danceable R&B. You know what I mean? It's soul music at a faster tempo that you can dance to. And that's what Devotion was. That's the way love is. All those great records that they created in the 80s, that's what it was. And so this is an opportunity for him to do a 2025 version of that, but rather than hog it all for himself, usher in a new generation of vocalists, you know, new artists that are the fresh blood that are going to keep this thing going. And so there are a lot of different feature artists on this album, and there's certain songs that Byron's not singing on at all, but he wrote or co-wrote every song on the album, and also participated in the production. He co-produced all the songs with me. Every song was a conversation between Byron and I and our other collaborators. And so it's still Byron Stingley. It's still the essence of 10 City, but it's ushering in the next generation of house music artists. So that was the approach. So they had that concept, and then they discussed, well, who do we want to work with on it? And they discussed me, and fortunately, they agreed that I could do the job. So Byron called me up and told me what they talked about, and of course I was 100% in. So I jumped on a Zoom meeting with Byron and Michael Weiss and Andrew Salzano from Nervous, and we discussed it, and we were off from there.
So producing an album, I mean, you produce tracks, you remix tracks, you're working on all that stuff, but producing an album is surely a different mindset because it's supposed to be a collection of work that I suppose makes sense on a one record. You know what I mean? It's an album. I don't see albums in our genre much. You know what I mean? Is it a different approach?
Yeah. So yes, I'm glad you asked that question because my background, I started off, without telling my age, it was a long time ago. I started off when I was 15. And
Me too.
Really?
Yeah.
Very cool.
It was a good age to start.
Probably around the same age.
Yeah. It was 1993.
Oh, mine was 1990, so I'm a little older than you.
We're close.
So I just told my age. It's okay.
So
I'm young in spirit. So I started off with house music. That's what lured me into DJ. That's what made me catch the bug, as we say. But I also was a hip hop kid, and I had a hip hop group when I was a teenager. And over the years, I developed my chops I was always making house, but I never put anything out when I was younger, and I ended up going more into hip hop in terms of being a producer. And then that led over the years to me working with R&B artists and learning how to produce R&B. So most of my production experience in history has been more in hip hop and R&B than even house. And the difference, like you just pointed out, is that in other genres of music, especially in that era, it is album focused, song focused. It's learning how to work with artists. It's not quite so personal as a producer. It's not me producing me. It's me producing who the artist is, and that's an important distinction because you have to see what is their character, what is their sound. What should they sound like? And as a producer, your job is to bring the best out in that. So there's going to be threads of yourself in there, but, fast forward to 10 City, my job is not, I'm not making an Emmaculate album or whatever I think. You know what I mean? It's Byron, 10 City. What should that sound like? When we're collaborating with these other artists, what should they sound like? And so, yeah, it's a different mindset, You're designing... in a sense, that is kind of a service job. You know what I mean? Where it's like you're designing what you think they should sound like in cooperation with what they think they should sound like and what their vision is, and fulfilling that.
So, as an album project, I mean, you gather in a lot of different collaborators and vocalists and stuff like that. How long does this process generally take? I mean, you're not going to knock this out in 2-3 weeks. When did you start the 10 City project?
So it's funny, Byron and I talked about this, and we looked back at the session dates. We started this process in January of 2024.
Okay.
And the album was mastered and done by February of 2025.
That's good going. That's good going, but it's a good solid year. I mean, it's...
Yeah, and that's in between him and I both having a lot of other responsibilities, so it wasn't like, it'd be one thing if we said, oh, we have nothing else to do and let's just go in the studio and knock an album out. We could have done it in, a couple months, 3 months, it would be done.
But life doesn't work that way,
Life doesn't work that way. So it was 13 months.
Wow.
Yeah, that's 13 months from start to finish is what in countless hours. We really put a lot of time and effort into it.
Wow, brilliant. No, it's a phenomenal album. I really mean that, and I gave that on the feedback when I got it. We've played a couple of tracks, as I said, on the program already. And I didn't know it was on vinyl. I'm going to have to try and find it on vinyl now. That is...
It should be easy to get in Europe because it was pressed in Europe. So I know it was on Juno. I'm sure it's in local stores.
Juno's good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Nervous has great distribution, so I think it should be fairly easy to find.
Change their minds. They both go their separate ways. Love is just memory, but a young heart doesn't
Okay, so roll on to today. You are a couple of hours away from playing at the Nervous Mixer. It's going to be you, but it's going to be a special performance by 10 City as well. Byron Stingley is in town.
Absolutely. Byron is here. He will be singing live. I'll be DJing as well. We're going to have a great time. It's at Bordello Aperitivo. We're going to play some tunes. We're going to have some food and some drinks, and we're going to listen to Byron and watch Byron perform. As a surprise, I had Byron pop in right now.
Byron Stingley.
Byron is in the house, literally.
Look at you. Wow. Look, you know what? DJ Emmaculate was a big moment for me at ADE. Byron Stingley is just the cherry on top, all right? Byron, how are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great.
You know what? I mean...
This is my first time at ADE.
It is not.
Yeah, I've never been to ADE. So.
Okay, well, before we go any further, what is your impressions of ADE so far?
It's good. It's great. It's great to see, I know, in years past, in America, we used to have a new music seminar where you have the Winter Music Festival. So to see the dance music community all come together like this, it's almost like a family reunion to me. Yeah.
Have you caught up with people that you haven't seen in years, or?
I have not. I got in last night.
Oh well, then okay. That's today, so.
Yeah. So I look to see people today. I'm looking forward to seeing my friends like DJ Spin, Louis Vega, Terry Hunter, Kenny Dope, just all the great DJs, Pete, BBE, all the great DJs. I look forward to seeing them.
Well, we were just talking to Emmaculate about the party in a couple of hours' time, which is the Nervous Mixer. You're going to be performing.
Yes.
Myself and Eric were talking about the 10 City Next Generation album.
Yes.
He was saying you've brought in the next generation of 10 City. Tell us about that. Who did you bring in, and give us your motivation?
I brought in a young singer named Mona Ree. She's been in plays and she's sung on records. On a couple records, I brought in a guy named D. Lyles, who's an R&B singer. He reminds me a little bit his tonality of Craig David, so I thought that would be cool for the UK. So he sings on the song Stop and Go. We have a young lady named Unica. We have Ovius. We got a chance to work with this guy, Rick Wilson, who's very well known. And then we got a chance to work with this group Drama, who's amazing. They've had records that have streamed over 10 million copies and things like that, several of them. And they have a great following. I think they've done Madison Square Garden in the States. And just, they all came and it was a long shot to get them on the album, but they were like great. It was like their way of paying homage to us, because they were saying that 10 City was one of the things that inspired them to do music. And
I mean, they must have grown up with this.
That's what they tell me. That's what they tell me, that they grew up to our sound. And so it felt great working with young people, and then them working with us. I have some things that I bring to the table. I think they learned things from me, and I learned things from them, and it was a great combination, for me, a great mesh, and it felt really fun and inspirational. And I really would like to see some of these records do well, not just for myself, but Emmaculate put a lot of work into this album. I've never seen anybody work as hard on a project. He
was saying it was almost a year, or over a year.
And during that time, he came up with the songs with me. Not only that, after he came up with the songs, he produced it, he played on it, he arranged music, and then he also engineered it and mixed it. So he's invaluable. If I would have had to pay somebody to arrange, record engineer, mix, produce, and do all the things that he did, and even vocal arrange and things like that, and that's the job that he did was almost like paying 10 people.
Wow.
And he's an incredible producer, and so I really want this project to do well, not just for myself, but for him and all of the artists, and also for Nervous Records. They really invested a lot of time and energy into this project, and I just want it to be a big success for everybody involved.
I grew up with 10 City as a kid. As a kid getting into dance music, I grew up with 10 City, right? How amazing is it to have younger people? Now, we've been talking about this on the show just this year at ADE. We've seen so many people who are, could be my kids, for argument's sake. I mean, they're probably 19, 20 years of age, and they know the music, Byron. They know about you. They know about, Chicago scene. They know about house music. They're not just discovering for the first time; they're invested in it. I mean, how exciting is it for you, who's lived through this entire, journey and the original part of this, to see this all happening now in 2025?
I mean, it's very exciting to see our music still going. I'm gonna tell you, even when I started out, I don't want to. But the first 10 City record came out in 1987.
I was going to say 86. I was going to think it had to be around 87.
Yeah, 87.
Oh, man.
Is when it came out. And I had people telling me then that, enjoy it while it lasts, because house music isn't going to be around. They were saying, oh, it's the new fad. And then even my whole career, people would tell me no one's into soulful house anymore. They're into acid house. It's all about rave. It's all about speed garage. It's all about EDM. It's all about this type of beat. It's all about jungle. It's all about drum and bass now. And they would tell me I've had my day, and just kept doing what I love doing. And so for me to still be around, to still be putting out albums, to still be getting nominated for Grammys, to still have #1 records on various charts and things like that, to me it feels great, and I'm just so thankful to still be able to do what I love to do, and to even be here in Amsterdam. It's not a given, as I heard you all, I was walking up, I heard you all speaking about Ron Carroll, but it's not a given that people still want to hear. And I know people who've had far, far bigger records than even myself, who don't get some of the opportunities to perform at the different festivals that I get invited to with our band. But I don't want to dim anything, but I just want, not just Ron Carroll, just in the last year we've had Ron Carroll, we've had Keith Nunley from JM Silk, Big Ed from the Black Beatniks.
That's right, yeah.
All of these people are not here with us anymore, and so I'm just thankful for each day and still to have these opportunities. And I could go on and on with some of the great house vocalists and writers like Roman Anthony, Kevin Irving, Mr. Daryl Pandy, and that's to name a few. We also lost Elias this year. Eddie from Elias, made the house record Follow Me. And so it's been a lot.
It's been a lot. I was going to say, it really has, hasn't it? And it's noticeably been a lot.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure that they're recognized and people still say their names and play their songs. But also, honestly, I still want to be, I would still like to be relevant. I still have goals. We got nominated for a Grammy, but I would like at some point, hopefully to get a chance to go back and hopefully win, and that would be great. And it means even more now, and I'll tell you why it means even more now. When we started out, there was a small group of us who were doing house music, and now it's probably about 10,000 records that get released.
Exactly. What a different time, fast forward to now.
And it's good, and it's a lot of it is very, very good, and it's very different. And so to do anything that can stand out and stick out through all of that music is good. And now not only you are competing against, maybe not, you're putting your music out against other talented people. Now you also have to contend with people who are computers, who are people are composing music with AI, and some of it's pretty good. I mean, the computer, but it makes me go I love, if you listen to the new 10 City album, those are real strings with real musicians, real bass, real guitar, and things like that. So hopefully it can, find a nice balance of that as well.
Are you going to take it on the road? I know you're doing it here at ADE, but are you going to tour around the US or anything and do some live shows as well?
I would really, really like to the album to be successful enough where we can create a demand to put on the kind of show that I've always wanted to. A lot of times over the years, I've done track dates, which I don't have a problem with that. It's great, you know, someone pays you to get up and sing your hit single and might give you a couple £1,000 or something for a few minutes. But really, at the heart of it, I've always wanted Tin City to be viewed as a live group. We just played Chicago with a full string section, horn section, and 2 keyboard players and background singers, and it sounded incredible. Not only did we do Tin City song, we did Diana Ross's The Boss. Mona Reese sang that. We had Unica sing Ain't No Mountain High Enough with her song, along with her song Release, and it sounded so incredible to me, like to even sit back and to hear not just our music, to perform some disco music live. But that show's kind of expensive, so I hope to create a demand where we can go out and put on that kind of show and that kind of production.
Well, it is incredible as an album, Byron. I have to tell you, I said it to Emmaculate just a short while ago. It just stands out as an amazing piece of work. I know it took a labour of love over a year with you guys working on it, but it's worth every minute. It's just absolutely brilliant. So be proud of it, and thank you so much for putting all that creativity. You know, with all these people passing away, we don't say it enough to people while they're here. We appreciate you. We think you're amazing. Thank you for everything you've done for music that's enriched our lives, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, and I thank him. And once again, I know this was his interview, and I didn't want to hijack his interview.
It's a lovely surprise, don't you worry.
But I'm going to say it again. I know you kind of walked away, but I was telling him, like, the work that you put in on this album is like none other that I've seen. Like, engineer, writer, producer, you know, even some things he did, management. I mean, he was dealing with the record label, getting them labeled, everything you could think of, he did. And I would like this album to be successful, because I want to see Emmaculate playing at festivals and things like that, and him getting his just due. I think he's just as talented. I put him in my top 3 of people I've worked with, and I've worked with everybody you could think of. He's definitely in my top 3.
Wow.
And I want to see him. I want to see him playing stadiums and getting his just due, because he deserves it. He's one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life.
Your lunch has arrived, Mr. Stingley. We shall let you have your lunch.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to us. What a surprise, by the way. Best of luck with show tonight. I'm hopefully going to catch you later on.
That'd be great.
You enjoy that. I have a few kind of generic ADE questions, but I will never possibly get the chance to ask Byron Stingley this again, okay? So what I'm going to ask, I hope you don't mind, Byron, what's something we might be surprised to learn about you outside of music?
Outside of music, I have a day job. And my day job is I'm what you would call a headmaster. I'm a school principal. And I've been doing that for the last 20 years. People wouldn't notice I lost my voice. I lost my voice around the year 2000. And I was trying to figure out something I could be passionate about and something else I could do. And I got into education, and I did that. And then my voice came back after rest. I had a nodules developed, and I guess by me not singing for some years, it healed on its own, and now I'm back singing. So that's another reason why I'm so thankful.
Wow! So there's a high school out there with Byron Stingley as the principal.
Well, I've been the principal of a high school, but right now I'm a principal of students that are age 5 to 15.
Wow!
Yeah,
that's incredible.
So that's something people wouldn't know.
Brilliant. Byron, it is amazing to meet you. I really mean that. It's an honour to meet you. I love surprises at ADE, but this has to be one for the ADE annuals for me. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thanks for everything you've done for music, and keep doing. You're an absolute legend. Really are.
Thank you so much.
Why not get the 2 for 1, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You've told us a lot about yourself, Eric, to be fair, yes. But what is something outside music people don't know about you?
I used to be 100% an athlete before I did music.
Like pro level?
Oh, no. Once I started DJing in high school, I quit sports 100%. But from 8 years old until like mid-high school, baseball and football, American football, every year. And I had no concept in my mind that I would ever get into music. But once I, as I said earlier, caught that bug in house music that started with dancing and then that led to wanting to learn how to DJ. I had music in my family because my older brother, my dad, and my mother were all musicians. My mom and dad were in a band together when I was a baby. So it was in my blood, but I was 100% sports and literally quit on a dime as soon as I learned to DJ.
Well, thank God you did learn music and do music, right? But if you hadn't learned music, where would you have ended up, sports-wise, you think?
Football was my first love.
So American football?
Yeah, American football was my first love. It's my favorite sport.
Still?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna hit you with the rapid ones because a few people have done these, right? It's a one-word answer. Don't overthink it.
Cool.
Okay. Clubs or festivals?
Clubs.
Sunrise set or closing set?
Closing set.
I know the answer to this one. USBs or vinyl?
Vinyl.
Who knew? Studio all night or after party all night?
Studio.
That's a tricky one at ADE because you're partying all night tonight, I'm sure. Anyway.
Well, yeah, there's no studio to go to.
Exactly. But if there was, okay, that's fine. So studio all night. Amsterdam canals or Amsterdam bikes?
Canals.
Stroopwafel or bitter balling?
I have absolutely no idea.
What they even are? Okay, so stroopwafel is, the little waffle you get. It's like this. This is stroopwafel.
Okay.
And then the bitter balling are basically like cheese balls, right? But anyway.
The waffle.
The waffle. Okay.
Yes.
Headphones, brand of choice?
V-Moda.
V-Moda. Drop the bass or build a melody?
Drop the bass.
This is an odd one. Favorite emoji you overuse?
Middle finger.
Wow. Okay. And finally, ADE in one word.
Networking.
Guys, it's been an amazing chat. A lovely surprise to me. Byron, never thought I'd ever get to do that. Thank you so much, Byron, for dropping by. I'm going to ask you guys to do one final thing before you head off and play your party and play your mixer. I hope it's okay, but I'd really like you to pick a track off the 10 City album to play on the ADE show. I appreciate it's probably quite a difficult question because you love them all. But I don't know, you want to knock heads together on that and figure out which one you'd like to pick to play?
DJ, I'll let him take it.
Okay.
The one for me, and only because this just fits into my own personal style, so if I'm being selfish, it's Love Music.
Love Music?
Yes.
Okay.
That to me, that record embodies what's great about house music. And the downside is it features less singing from Byron. It's more of a track, but what he did on it vocally is just perfect to me.
Okay. We will spin that without delay. Gentlemen, it's an honour to meet you both. Meeting both of you for the first time, and enjoy the rest of ADE. I know we've only got a night or two left. Have a great party later on. I hope to drop by and see us, and God bless you all.
God bless you too, and thanks for having us.
how good was that? How good was that? It's just ADE for me all over. It's happened to me over several ADEs now in the course of doing all these special shows, but it never gets any less thrilling when these surprise guests come along. Byron Stingley there with DJ Emmaculate. Wow. I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd ever get to meet Byron Stingley, never mind chat to him about such amazing stuff, and DJ Emmaculate as well. Just unbelievable. Anyway, that for me is what ADE is about. You know that by now. It's just being able to meet these legends of heroes of mine that I'd never be able to meet normally in one place at one time. It also is the case for the next guest. It's our final guest tonight. It's our final guest on the ADE 2025. He's a hero of mine, and JJ has just been part of my musical life forever. What an opportunity to get to talk to the man. I believe it's his first ADE. Can you believe that? And here he is. This is JJ Hernandez. Unbelievable. Right, welcome back to ADE 2025. Nice surprises this year at ADE, as you've been hearing. And this for me was I kind of knew it was coming, but the surprise got nonetheless when I bumped into this man on Thursday at the Traxsource meet and greet. For me, it was the first time to finally meet one of my absolute heroes whose music I've played for my entire probably DJ career, most of it anyway. JJ Hernandez. JJ, it was great to meet you on Thursday. It's great to sit down and chat with you. Welcome to ADE 2025. How are you?
I'm great, and it was great to meet you after seeing the support for almost everything that I've done on the radio show, and so I appreciate that. So.
Well, I think I'm correct in saying this is your first ADE.
Yeah, it's the first time I've made it here for the conference.
So was there a reason you said I'm going this year? Have you been looking at it for a while and thinking, wow, got to get over here, or?
Yeah, so I've been looking at it for a while, and Meme from Brazil, DJ Meme, he's been telling me I should come. It's like old school Miami, like more networking and business and stuff. And then for my party in Miami for the Winter Music Conference, we booked Richard Earnshaw and Steve Taylor, and we hung out the whole week. And they were telling us about their party here, and I said, hey, if you can help me line up somewhere to play, gives me a reason to make the journey, and that's what they did. So Steve coordinated with Two Room Academy and Crossfader, which was a tie-in because I've been doing a lot of education, a lot of working with kids and mentoring up-and-coming producers, and so I was like, okay, that's the reason to come. And then I text Meme, I'm finally going to go, let's meet there. So yeah, I'm here for the first time.
And you've come quite a long way. I mean, I know a lot of people come a long way, but you've really come quite a long way. Yeah. So you flew out of LA on, did you arrive Thursday or Wednesday?
We arrived Wednesday morning. We flew, we left Tuesday morning from LA, flew to San Francisco, which is a short hour flight from Los Angeles to San Francisco. Then we boarded the flight that went straight to Amsterdam.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And here you are. So your body clock is just about getting figured out about now.
Oh, yeah. Still not quite.
Well, you were playing here. As you said, you lined up a gig, and it was on, actually right where we are. We're in the Arc Hotel at the moment, the Arca Bar, which is in the Art Hotel down near the Park Plaza. And you were playing here on Thursday night. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So it was a mixer for a party, basically, for Two Room Academy and Crossfader. So education platforms, music production, DJing, all that stuff. And they had done a workshop in the afternoon, and then had the event that night. So that's where I was played a set with a bunch of other folks, and it was good. Yeah, I mean, people were up for it. I had a good time. So yeah.
Now, have you been reconnected with anyone or bumped into anyone that you were like, wow, I'm glad I came to ADE now,
So many people, yes. Obviously, look, I've been around this industry for a very long time. Started going to the Miami Music Conference in 1991. I've only missed a few of them, and in those early days, the entire European industry was there.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. It was the place to be.
Yeah. And before it got really big, and before it got really focused on just parties and events for people that love the music, which overtook the city, it was the industry that makes the music that was there. And so in those early days, I met and hung out and even booked for parties in San Francisco, a lot of folks whose music that I was learning about and growing up on and myself. So connecting with them and seeing them here was great. Like Moose T is one that I booked in 1994, 95, him and Boris, and seen through the
That's
years.
like over 30 years ago.
Yeah,
Wow,
I know.
okay,
It's
yeah,
people
you
that
think about it, you know.
It's people that I met and saw in Miami. Georgie Porgy from Chicago and Terry Hunter. Georgie Porgy was my first manager in the mid '90s. And Terry Hunter I've known since mid '90s, all this kind of stuff. Bumping into Todd Terry, who still goes to the Miami, so I see him, running into Grant Nelson, who I haven't seen in a long time. A lot of folks, like I said, don't really make that journey over, there. So Sarah Foote, who I know you spoke with,
spoke to her in the show,
Favouritizm PR,
sure.
A bunch of people who I've worked with, right? So Sam Carlson's been doing a lot of music lately, but for the last couple of years, I was mixing and mastering the stuff for him. And so we got to meet in person. Another friend of mine, Luke, from France, another person who's taken my class, and I've worked mentoring, mixing and mastering and stuff like that. So, got to actually meet a few of these folks that I've worked with, which has been fun as well.
To actually real connect,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Well, you mentioned it there. You actually mentioned it as well at the start of our chat. But you're now mentoring people. You're literally giving them the benefit of your experience and your talent and your knowledge. So tell us a bit about that. So that's happening back home, obviously in LA. But tell us about that.
Yeah, so I've just been, I guess, a few years ago I sort of got started into this education thing. I've always kind of been interested in it, done workshops, even, back in the old Winter Music Conference days, with Avid Pro Tools or Logic, and, doing different workshops. And so I had done a workshop in San Francisco, and then the school that I hosted it at, the studio and school that I hosted it at, lost a teacher. And so they said, would you teach this class? So I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. I like talking about the stuff that I do, but if I don't know if I'm able to explain it well. I don't know, am I going to be a good teacher, So I did that, and it became a really interesting divergence where it gave me focus to learn about something new, to try to figure out how to explain everything that I've learned through the years in a way that's comprehensible to someone that doesn't already know what I know.
I was just going to ask, like, at what level are these people coming in, right? So you're talking, okay, let's pick somebody just straight out of high school.
This was about 7 years ago,
Okay.
so by now I've worked with every level you can think of. I've worked with students in, some of the different places that I've kind of been working with, different educational platforms or institutions or whatever. People that downloaded the software to use, whether it's Live or Logic or Pro Tools or whatever, when starting their first class, or they've been at it for years and just want a refresher. And I've really done everything in between. People that released and put out a bunch of music and then maybe had some family obligations or a new job and took a hiatus for a while and wanted to get back into it. So I've done students like that, and I've done people from new to experienced. Some people that I'm pretty confident and know pretty well what I'm doing, but it's always good to get another perspective. And
I was going to say, you obviously got to stay on top of stuff, right? Coming out,
Yeah.
you got to stay on top. So this is what I'm asking really, is AI, where's that going to lead into this? Is this a scary, brave new world now we're into with AI in music? Or
Right.
how far ahead are we looking at this?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's definitely some disruption happening already and will continue to happen, 100%. Crazy shit going on with the way the major labels are training the AI to just not have to pay artists and still provide music on a large scale, whatever. But there's lots of really cool ways that this technology can be used. So if you still do want to be a creative person and you still want to make music, one backbone of a lot of the music in dance music is using samples, right? So this is something I've been talking to a lot of students about, where it's like, you can violate copyright law and grab a sample from YouTube and make a song with it and get away with it. A lot of people do. Or you can say, all right, well, what type of sample are you looking for? Are you looking for a funk disco with a live bass and a wah-wah guitar? There's a prompt. Go and get your own sample. So maybe that's a way that this stuff can be used. There's lots of great technology to help make the mixing and mastering process quicker. Even with integrated in products like Isotope, their Ozone package for mastering and stuff. There's plenty of people out there on the internet that will say, a human mastering is always going to be better than, and I don't know. Sometimes, probably. And sometimes, maybe not. Like, who knows? But there's lots of ways where it can be utilized to help speed up the creative workflow. I think there's a plethora of great singers out there, but sometimes new producers, they have a hard time finding them. There's platforms that you can help write your own vocals and get a professional sounding result. Now, I love the process of working and co-writing and being in the studio
real deal,
and the way that works.
Yeah.
And, but I also have in my phone numbers of competent singers that I can work with. So, that's the other thing where some students have said, like, I've listened to their music and I've said it's time for you to start working with vocalists. And their first question is like, okay, so how? You know what I mean? How, right? So, in a lot of cases, I would say, okay, well, check out things like Sound Better or, even Fiverr for music. And then after weeks go by, they'll say, well, I messaged 4 or 5 singers and no one's gotten back to me because they're new. They don't have a reputation. And so is this singer wanting to work with that? It's all that.
It must be tough. It must be tough now. I mean, we're about way back in the day when there wasn't so much choice, and it's a great thing that so many people are making music and good music at that, but it's just so much, it's how do they get even in touch with people to be noticed? It's just so hard.
Right. So, I've said, all right, well, maybe try some of it. So look, the AI thing, there's some crazy stuff that is disheartening about what's happening. Quite a bit of it, and there's also some really interesting things that can be useful to folks that still want to learn and study the craft and create and be a part of that process. So, enhancing the creativity there's options.
Yeah, I mean, I feel myself, even in regard to anything AI, it's if we can harness it and use it for a better, to make what we're actually doing in the real world better, maybe that's great, but to actually fabricate stuff that doesn't really exist, maybe not so much,
Right, exactly.
So is this local to the west coast of the States, or is there people from all over the world doing these mentorship courses?
I work with folks all over the world. I mean, like I said, I got started on this, and I seem to be able to do okay with it and enjoy it, and the students get out of it. So I've just kept doing it and opened it up. And so now with people becoming familiar with Zoom through COVID.
Exactly. No, absolutely. Yeah.
So I've had students that I've worked with weekly in Qatar and in Dubai, in the UK, in Paris, Australia, as well as all around the States, Canada, so it's just really so easy now to get this video face-to-face and sharing audio and showing things and, controlling someone else's computer and showing them stuff or saying, hey, listen to what this sounds like when I do this, turn this knob, So yeah, it's been, easy to be able to accommodate and just work with folks and pass along all of this, what sometimes feels like just silly knowledge I've gained through the years,
silly.
It's like, in the real world,
it's
like
vital knowledge, man. Come on.
It's like I know a lot about one thing, and that's that's making music.
It must take up an awful lot of your time, though. Does it? I mean, trying to mentor probably 3 people would take up a lot of time. But how many people are you currently sort of instructing?
So I work with about 3 to 5 nowadays, pretty regularly.
Do you have like a cutoff? Do you kind of say that's it? I can't do any more than that.
It kind of depends. But I'd say once I get to about 10 or 12, and that's kind of a lot. Because my creative process is long. So when I'm going to work on something, if I have, I have a mentorship hour at, let's say, 11 a.m. and another one at 5 p.m., it's like that time in between doesn't seem to my head like enough to really dive in on stuff. So I try to be able to schedule it as much as I can so that I have like nice chunks for my own creative output and stuff. But at the end of the day too, it's like nowadays, I have a home studio. I'm in and out of that whenever I want. I send a link to someone, they put it on there, they pay for the session, we show up, we meet, we do the Zooms. And so that just administering that has become easier, So yeah, it's fun though.
Now, I guarantee you there's somebody listening to this and I go, whoa, I can be mentored by JJ, seriously? And I live in Ireland, or I live in the UK, or I live wherever. Yeah. How do they do that?
Yeah, shiftedmusic.com, my website. There's an area in there for classes. Feel free to post to my email, jay@shiftedmusic.com. I'm pretty easy to find. Actually, just type anything at shiftedmusic.com and it will find its way to me. So learn@shiftedmusic.com is another email address that I have. But yeah, if anyone's interested in, I don't know, hearing me explain what I've sort of developed, and it's kind of weird too, because I really enjoy it, but it's also non-traditional, because a lot of things, like I work with students and I'm like, okay, this is some stuff that's like textbook that you are going to need to know and aligns with what you'll hear out there. And then here's some really weird specific shit that I just do that makes me efficient, that makes me, keep a level of control, a level of quality quickly, in a sense. And so I teach them some weird little workflows and ways of doing things. And it's
JJ
this
hacks.
Combination, it is. It's like I hack the system, it's like these tools are there, but if you use these combination of them in this way, and da-da-da-da, and because I wasn't, I didn't go to some educational institution to learn this. I learned in the late 90s, and I was self-taught, making music, owning a studio, recording instruments, working with musicians, and that whole process of dealing with everything, and with the help of a few mentors that would, I would ask questions to, like how do I deal with arrangements? I remember it was Victor Simonelli, the legend, when I was booking him in the mid-90s. He did a few parties for me in San Francisco, and we hung out a whole bunch, and I was like, what do you do about arrangements? And he's like, well, his mentor, Arthur Baker, told him to get some records and a piece of paper and document what's happening. Write it down, make a list, track it. And so that's what Victor told me, so that's what I did, so I learned in these sort of weird, non-traditional ways, and then created my own way of using the technology and the DAW and the plugins and everything in a way that, in some cases is a little bit of a weird hack that I found works. So I teach people that, and I tell them, this is my way. You're going to find lots of different ways to do this. This is why I do it. This is how I do it. And this is what I get from it. So you can decide, but it works.
But it's all about really passing that knowledge down to the next generation, isn't it? It's passing on that knowledge. I mean, Arthur Baker, Victor Simonelli, JJ. Yeah. Do you know what I mean, though? It is. It's an impartation of that. Yeah. Their experience you're getting the benefit of, and you're doing that now for other people, which is brilliant.
Yeah, it's been fun, actually.
You've have windows of studio time. What have you been working on in the studio then? What's been going on for your own creativity then?
Yeah, so I've been working on some stuff. We're working on solidifying a new distributor for my label and get some stuff fixed up there, and have some new stuff in the works for that. I also was just finished up a record with our friend Ron Carroll.
Wow. Okay.
And we finished that, and we're exchanging messages about a week before he passed about coming to ADE and talking to people about this record.
I was saying to Emmaculate earlier, he's still on flyers for ADE on the site. I mean, which is, of course, it's how soon it was or how recent it was. Yeah. It's just crazy.
It's bittersweet because it's a great record. But, he co-wrote it with Nicole Graham. And the interesting story is Nicole Graham was a singer on a defected record, mid-2000s, early 2000s, that I was hired to remix. So I think it was, I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called Free Your Mind, maybe. But maybe that's the new one. I don't know. It's been a long week. But anyway, absolutely. Nicole Graham sang this record that I remixed a long time ago. We've met at various winter music conferences and chatted. Her and Ron co-wrote this. I then did remixes. And then Ron passed away. So Nicole and I talked a little bit about, like, what do we do? How do we honor Ron and present some creative work that he was a part of in a way that, sheds light on what he loved and what he did up until the end. There's, I've talked to several people that were in the middle of finishing tracks with Ron, who was active right up until the end.
Sure. When I talked to Emmaculate earlier in the program, he was telling me he literally was at a record signing, I think, last night, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so, yeah.
It was crazy.
That's insane. But wow.
So working on that, working on some new stuff for the label, and yeah.
So that's to come out. We can actually look forward to that coming out. That'll be good. Good to hear. And a real, the great thing about being creative is that legacy lives on. Your music lives on, your creativity lives on. So it's brilliant to be able to keep Ron's memory alive and Ron's creativity alive by even tracks now being new tracks coming out by him. It's brilliant. So super.
And it really puts into practice a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about, because one of the schools I work with has a recording studio, and I teach students in the recording studio on an old analog console, an amazing analog console, an API console, and all the outboard gear that we use, all the plugins. And we are in the studio with the students recording instruments and doing that process. So to do this thing with Ron on the summer break, I booked a bunch of musicians and went into the studio and we did a session. And it was very old school for me because it was multiple musicians at once working on a track together, doing ideas back and forth. And it was an idea that Ron and I talked about, that I had said that I've been wanting to do something like this. And he said, well, that would be perfect because, he's like, look, I love disco, which is that embodiment of that with live bass and guitar and piano. And I said, oh, this is great, and I've got this facility that I can use, and I've got great musicians in LA, of course, that I know. And so we did this, version of it that's very live oriented, that was fun, that combines some of the education, combines the creative, combines a 20-something year relationship with Ron, who's I've worked with at different events and done music, and he's played with me, and then here we are,
Wow. Tonight, it's Saturday night in Amsterdam. You're probably going to head out. Where are your plans for tonight?
We're going to I think it's Cafe Kroon again, which is where the Track Source party was. Yeah. It's some disco folks there. One of my good friends was like, I want to go here. Good enough of a friend to not even check the lineup and say, well, this is where we're going then, kind of a thing. We've been, we work on parties in Miami together. So he's like, I want to go here, so fine. So I don't even know who's playing, but,
It'll be good.
I know our friend Sarah is singing there, so, so we're going to do that tonight.
Super. Okay, when are you heading home? Are you staying? Sunday. Okay, same as myself. So short visit.
Yeah.
Short visit. Good man. All right, well, listen. I've asked this to everyone pretty much, or some of these to everyone pretty much, so don't feel too victimized.
No.
All right. But we need to know something about you that we might be surprised to learn about you outside of music.
Okay. I just finished the beta on an app that I'm building, utilizing a lot of AI technology to help me code an app and build a website. I've been learning about all this stuff as a side project, keep my mind active and busy. And I built an app that's called AI Health Exporter. And for those of us that are leveraging the power of artificial intelligence to have conversations about our health with the devices that we use. So Apple Health app, when it exports data, the file is too large to do anything with. And so I built an app that breaks that out into separate CSV files that can be uploaded to a language model like ChatGPT, and then have a conversation with the results of that to look at from calorie counts to step counts to heart rate to all of the different metrics that are available within the Apple Health ecosystem for the people that have a smartwatch, or whether it's an Apple Watch or some other device, and that's all linking up, calorie tracking, exercise routines and all that, and then get that export easy, quickly into separated files that you can then load up. And that's
another project you're working on, as if you weren't busy enough.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. This is going to be, actually, maybe it won't be so easy. Is there anyone on your dream list you haven't worked with yet? I know you've worked with a lot of people, but anyone on your wish list, dream list that you haven't actually worked with yet?
Yeah, there's lots. I think some of the people whose music that I grew up with, even with Louis Vega is someone who we've been friendly to one another for a very long time, and I know there's a level of some mutual respect amongst the industry. He was instrumental in helping show the world the Jill Scott remix that got nominated for a Grammy and was a big time for me and all that. So like someone like that, and some of the other legends, would be amazing. This project, the live project I was talking about, I had just about booked the keyboard player for Earth, Wind & Fire. He was about to do the session, but then got booked for a private show, so couldn't do the session. But working with some folks that work like that, you know what I mean? I've become friends with Victoria Theodore, who was the musical director and keyboard player for Stevie Wonder for many years. And she's, her husband was a drummer in the band that I would work with, and we would tour around doing house music stuff, So there's some people like that I definitely want to do more work with. And some of the legends that, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Right, I will leave it at this one for you, right? No judgment. No judgment. Do you have a go-to guilty pleasure song that you secretly love? The cringier the better, I would say.
So I would never admit this in public, so we'll have to keep this quiet. But,
absolutely. We won't tell anybody.
Yeah, we can't tell anybody this. And that's the joke that I have with my wife, because she knows I love Dua Lipa. And so, whenever it comes on, she'll crank it up. And we joke that, shh, don't tell anybody that I love this, and I sing along, and, and I love it. But yeah, the Houdini song, I just think she's got a great vibe. She's a great singer. She's worked with some songwriters that write fucking catchy hooks and write catchy melodies. And that's
all right, that's your. We won't tell anybody.
And I love me some Ed Sheeran too.
Oh really? Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, it was amazing to talk to you. Amazing to see you. Amazing to hang out. Amazing to finally meet you.
Too, yeah.
Thanks so much for taking time to talk to us on the show tonight. Will you be back to ADE? Is the question I'm going to leave you with. Will you come back?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We're already talking about next year, so yeah.
Good man. Enjoy tonight. Safe travels home. And big love.
You got it. Bye.
You know what? I thought no better way to end that conversation and indeed end our ADE special 2025 with a bit of classic JJ. 20 years old. This is JJ, Ron Carroll's Black Gospel Feel edit of JJ and Charlene Moore with him. It was undefected back in the day, and a real classic. Still play that record. And you know what? It's maybe one that slightly got forgotten about in the whole Ron Carroll sort of a look backs that have been going on a little while. That is a real classic. JJ and Ron Carroll coming together with Charlene Moore on vocals with him. That wraps up the Digital Grooves ADE special 2025. I hope you enjoyed some of the amazing conversations tonight in the programme, some of the amazing guests on part 1 and part 2, which of course was tonight. All I've got left to do is thank each and every person who was on the show over the last 2 weeks for coming on and spending that bit of precious time that really does fly at ADE. It's really hard to nail people down and just have them relaxed and having a chat. So I really appreciate each and everybody who came on the show tonight and last week. Don't forget we have a Barbara Tucker special competition. I'm going to run it on Instagram as well, so you can have a quick look at that if you're a listen backer or whatever and you didn't get a chance to hear the question that Barbara asked. You can win a signed copy of the 20th anniversary edition of Most Precious Love, signed by Barbara Tucker on vinyl. Yes, it might be for you, it might be for a record enthusiast that you know and love in your life. It might be something you just want to hang on your wall. I don't know. You can win it though and I will send it to you. So watch the socials over the next couple of weeks. But keep entering that competition. We're back as normal on the radio next Monday night with a big catch-up vibe for us, because we got 2 weeks of music to catch up on, let alone next week. So yeah, a bumper show for you next Monday night. In the meantime, from the streets of Amsterdam, I'm definitely coming down with the flu. Oh, anyway, look, I'll talk to you next Monday. Hopefully I'll be recovered by then. Good night from the streets of Amsterdam. This has been ADE 2025. Until next year, good night from Amsterdam.